Welcome to this explainer. When you look at Walmart, it is so incredibly easy to just see a traditional retailer, right? You picture the aisles of groceries, the bright yellow discount signs, the massive parking lots. But honestly, that's largely an illusion. The visible business you and I interact with is really just the surface. What we're actually unpacking today is a global, ruthless, cost compression machine. Let's start with a number that's frankly hard to even wrap your head around: $713.2 billion. That is Walmart's total revenue for fiscal 2026. This isn't just a big number, it's sheer gravity. At this staggering scale, Walmart isn't just participating in the retail market, it literally dictates the economics of the entire market. When you're dealing with hundreds of billions of dollars, a tiny fraction of a percent saved on a single item translates into absolute billions in profit. So, if they aren't just a traditional store, what are they? Well, we need a new definition. Walmart is best understood as a scale-based retail infrastructure company. It leverages massive purchasing volume, intense logistics density, and huge amounts of data to systematically lower its unit cost. Think of it like this. It doesn't just sell products, it processes them through an industrial-scale operating system that is engineered to squeeze out costs at every single node. Okay, let's dive into Layer 1, the apex predator. We're going to look at their physical base, which, by the way, generated a massive $171 billion in gross profit in fiscal 2026 alone. To really get how they do this, we have to look at the supply chain stack. At the very top, Walmart controls demand. They drive massive traffic. We're talking roughly 280 million customers weekly. That gives their suppliers absolute volume certainty. Then comes procurement. Because they buy in such ridiculous quantities, their purchasing scale just naturally lowers unit costs. But the real kicker here, it's logistics. Operating 371 distribution centers globally ensures that shelves are always stocked, and it slashes transportation costs. And finally, data. Every single basket and inventory scan sends real-time signals that ruthlessly eliminate forecasting waste. The crucial takeaway here is that Walmart's power is entirely systemic. They squeeze cost across the entire stack, from the wholesale purchase price all the way down to how full the delivery trucks are. I mean, just let the sheer scale of this operation sink in for a second. Moving right along to Layer 2, the EDLC Flywheel. This is the internal operating system that keeps the whole thing running. You've probably heard of EDLP, everyday low prices. That's the customer promise. It's the marketing magic that you and I see when we walk into a store. But EDLC, everyday low cost, that's the ruthless internal operating machine that actually funds that promise. See, without a structural cost advantage, running low prices just destroys your margins. But when you have that cost advantage, low prices become a highly offensive weapon. Let's actually trace how this operational flywheel spins in the real world. Step 1, it starts with lowering structural costs through intense operational discipline. Step 2, those savings are directly used to lower prices at the register, which earns your trust. Step 3, that trust drives massive traffic and volume. And finally, Step 4, because of that sheer volume, Walmart gets to dictate supplier economics. Suppliers desperately need access to those shoppers so they can cede to lower prices, which feeds right back into Step 1. But to truly understand the machine, we have to look under the hood at working capital. Take a look at this number, $58.9 billion. That was Walmart's massive inventory sitting there at the end of fiscal 2026. Retail, at its core, is fundamentally a race against inventory. Slow inventory eats your cash. Fast inventory produces it. But here is the absolute magic trick of retail economics. Contrast that inventory figure with this one. $63.1 billion in accounts payable. Yes, you heard that right. Walmart actually owes its suppliers more money than the total value of the inventory it's currently holding. By selling the goods to us before they even have to pay the suppliers for them, they're basically getting their suppliers to fund their business for free. It is a brilliant setup. So just to recap real quick, that EDLC culture completely funds the EDLP promise. Massive volume dictates their supplier terms, and that $63.1 billion in payables effectively finances their $58.9 billion in inventory. It's just a beautiful, self-sustaining financial engine. All right, let's pivot to Layer 3, digital infrastructure. This is where we look at their transition into a high-margin ecosystem. We are currently watching a very high-stakes transition play out. Global e-commerce sales for fiscal 2026 reached $150.4 billion. That's a massive 24% jump. And what's their secret? Walmart's 10,955 physical stores aren't real estate liabilities in the digital age. They've turned them into highly efficient omni-channel fulfillment nodes located right in your neighborhood. But here is where the margin profile really shifts. $6.4 billion. That is Walmart's advertising revenue for fiscal 2026, representing a massive 46% surge. Now, why is this so incredibly valuable? Because Walmart has first-party purchase data. They know exactly what your household actually buys week in and week out. Monetizing that kind of granular data carries vastly higher margins than just selling you a box of cereal. This quote perfectly captures our core thesis for today's explainer. The store shelf is only the surface. The supply chain beneath it is the economic engine. Walmart is literally leveraging its massive, incredibly dense physical footprint as a foundation to build a high-margin digital infrastructure right on top of it. Just to solidify this digital pivot, their global e-commerce has scaled to over $150 billion. Ad revenue is up 46%. Thousands of physical stores are now functioning as localized fulfillment hubs. These new high-margin layers, like the third-party marketplace and their data monetization, are fundamentally changing the math of their entire business. Which brings us to our final section, the valuation verdict. How exactly is Wall Street supposed to correctly price this transitioning financial entity? We've got some serious competing market forces at play here. On the bull case side, you have the massive upside of those high-margin digital layers we just talked about. Ad revenue, marketplace growth, and that superior inventory velocity. But look at the bear case. This transition takes some incredibly heavy lifting. We're talking $26.6 billion in capital expenditures in fiscal 2026 alone. Plus, you still have inherently thin traditional retail margins, massive wage inflation risks, and undeniable geopolitical and tariff exposure. Which leaves us with the ultimate test of Walmart's intrinsic value. Can it keep converting its staggering global scale into lower unit costs while successfully layering these high-margin digital businesses on top? Because if it can, the apex predator of the physical world is about to absolutely dominate the digital one too. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this changed how you look at the economics of the world's biggest company.